What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and we're going to be talking to Oscars while we're in the middle of Cannes. And yeah, so this is Best Actress. These are my early predictions for Best Actress. I haven't really seen anything coming out of Cannes that has just dramatically changed this for me. So I didn't have anybody from Megalopolis high on this list to begin with. So, yeah, I didn't have to make any major changes or anything like this so far. Waiting to see kind of the reaction and settling. And some films you wait to see what the distributor is, because some people can like a film and then they can be like, oh, yeah, I really like that film, and still doesn't have a distributor. And you're like, where is it going? Where is the film going? It does matter. It matters so much. Yeah, these are my picks for actress. So coming in at number one, I'm going with Angelina Jolie for Maria. It's been a while since she's been nominated. It's been a long time since she's won, and she hasn't really had anything that's on top. Pablo Larraín is really good at getting his lead actresses nominations. Natalie Portman for Jackie, Kristen Stewart for Diana for the Diana thing. That was terrible. I hated it, but she got nominated for it. Yeah, so I feel like regardless, she's gonna get nomination because she is who she is. She hasn't been nominated in a while. People will do that, like, oh, she's back. Look at that. And she'll find her way back into I don't know that she's going to win, but I think she has the best shot at, for certain, getting a nomination. She's obviously the lead because she's playing the title character. So there's not like a debate about like how much screen time she has. So I put her slightly above my number two, which is Saoirse Ronan for Blitz, which a lot of people are excited about because they're looking at the list of people and they're like, oh, it's Saoirse's time. Maybe this year she'll win. I've heard that. She's young. She's got a lot of time. She started young getting nominated with Atonement. So this won't be her first time being nominated. But she's definitely in the conversation, probably the lead actress of Blitz. I don't know who else would be the lead of Blitz, but it feels like she's the lead of Blitz. We don't know if Blitz is the kind of movie where actors get nominated from it either. It could be like 1917 where just no actors get nominated. So, just depends on the structure of the film. So, but I do have Saoirse up there because she's been nominated before. It's very likely she'll be nominated again. She also has another film this year that feels like she's not going to get nominated for. That is going to help get her buzz. It's going to put her out there. And I think that helps sometimes to have more than one good film floating around, like the year Colin Farrell finally got his Oscar nomination. It just was a really strong year for Colin Farrell. So, moving down the list, number three is Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths. This is the Mike Leigh film. Marianne just makes sense. She's reteaming with Mike Leigh here, and it feels like the nomination that a lot of people will take for granted. It doesn't feel like the sexy nomination, like that people are going to be like rooting for, but she ends up getting in because she's Marianne Jean-Baptiste and she's been around forever, and it's a Mike Leigh film, and she was excellent in it, predictably so. So, moving down the list, number four. Tilda Swinton for The End. I have her higher up on the list for The End than I do for her other film, although I'm tracking her for Best Actress for both, just in case, because I don't know which film she'll end up really. It's nice to see Tilda in conversation for multiple films. Again, another strong, well-regarded actress. Also has already won before. Would be great to see her here. She got marginal buzz last year for The Killer, and she was only in that for like 3 seconds. So, yeah, it's Tilda, when given the right thing to do, can get all sorts of critics' praise behind her. So I think the end sounds interesting, and it could be one of those things that just kind of like slides in. So we'll see. But number 5 is Lady Gaga for Joker Folie à Deux. Yeah. Some people have her at number 1. The thing is, I would go with you on that if she had managed to get the nomination for House of Gucci. And I know people are going to be like, well, House of Gucci was House of Gucci and this is Joker Folie à Deux. 2 different movies. The thing about that is that she actually hit all the precursors. So, like, she was almost, like, legally required to get an Oscar nomination because she was the only person that year that actually picked up everywhere she showed up everywhere she needed to be. And then other people got nominated. So, with all of the overlapping voting bodies that we have, Lady Gaga showed up everywhere. Everybody voted for her, and then the Oscar voters didn't. There has to be a reason for that. There has to be a disconnect between Oscar voters and everywhere else. Yes, she got in for A Star is Born, but she hasn't been able to get in since. So I've got her at number 5 because I think she's tracking enough buzz, but I also don't feel great about it. And I'm waiting to see whether or not this really happens for her. Because she likely should have been House of Gucci's like low nomination. Wouldn't have surprised me at all. But sadly, she was just left out in the cold, which means if you have her at number 1, you're living in crazy town. I don't know what to tell you. But when you see something like that happens, I would say the same thing. Like right now, Jennifer Lopez basically was in the same situation for Hustlers, but even she didn't hit every single precursor, but Lady Gaga actually hit every single precursor award ceremony that she needed. I don't think she missed a single one and then didn't get it. It was so bizarre. So it's very worth mentioning here. So I don't know if Oscar voters are ready to nominate her again, or if they ever will be. Number 6, who might get in if Lady Gaga doesn't?
6 of 26, Jessica Lange.
I've got Jessica Lange for Long Day's Journey into Night, this film that everybody keeps talking about. Nobody really knows what's happening. Everybody's heard Jessica Lange. It's terrific. It's just this weird thing where she has all the buzz in the world, and nobody knows what's happening with this film. This film could just suddenly appear on a streaming service, and I don't know, it wouldn't even surprise me at this point. So who knows? But if a fairly competent studio wants to run an Oscar campaign for her, she'll probably, she'll be in the mix. She'll pick up some stuff. It feels like she'll get in the Globes and stuff like that. So again, she's getting up there in age. She's not too many more times you're going to be able to nominate Jessica Lange. So yeah. Anyway, number 7 is
7 of 27, Robin Wright. Here.
Robin Wright for Here. This is one that I really want to move into the top 5. I want to be bold, but I feel like 7 is being bold, considering it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, and the last thing we saw him do was Pinocchio. So 7 is where Robin Wright gets for all of the buzz but where do you hear buzz from, right? You hear buzz from, industry sources who could be the producers hyping their own film. When you hear things about how a test screening went, very few people got to see that test screening or would know how those results went. So, and then they say it to one person, and then suddenly it trickles all the way down to somebody like me, who's got like less than 300 people, but is also saying the same thing, that Here had really high test score ratings, but so did supposedly 13 Lives had supposedly really tested really like through the roof. So it doesn't always lead to Oscar nominations. But the difference here is that Robin Wright has never been nominated. And I feel like that's going to come up. I feel like if Here can get any traction at all, it has Robin Wright, who has loyally been in this in this field now forever, and uh, is a well-respected actress. The supporting actors in here, by the way, also Paul Bettany and Kelly Riley, have never been nominated. So, and you got Tom Hanks in lead. It's a nice package if this film works. And I think Robin Wright is the one person that I feel like could truly get an Oscar nomination. This could finally be her year. If Here is actually good, if Robert Zemeckis finally did it, if this is Welcome to Tomorrowland again, or something like that, then... But anyway, moving down the list, number 8.
8 of 28.
Ryan Destiny for The Fire Inside. I like this way better when it was Flint Strong. The Fire Inside. Ryan had buzz last year. Nobody knew who she was. And so people have just been saying Ryan Destiny's name now for like 2 years. That's got to be helping her. The film does kind of have an early release date. I think it's supposed to drop in August. It's not a great time for Oscar movies, but it's not impossible. It's just a weird time. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll see how that happens. But she's on the list. Could be a breakthrough performer of the year. Could be something that just really just pops. I don't know. But the buzz has been there.
9 of 29. Zendaya, Challenger.
Number 9, I still have Zendaya for Challengers. I feel like this is going to continue to trend downward for me. Yeah, people are talking about her, and people will continue to talk about Zendaya, and they'll continue to try to push her for Dune Part 2. I think she'll be one of those people who stays in the conversation without ever leaving it, but doesn't end up materializing into a nomination. It's not Euphoria. Obviously, we've seen what she's capable of, and if she gets a nomination for Challengers, it could be like a Golden Globe thing, where they're like, Golden Globes are willing to bring Zendaya in because they get to have, you know, the nominees across both categories. But I don't know. We'll see. But Challengers seems to have fans. And I think Zendaya has the best chance of any of the cast members of getting a nomination out of it. So, and I also think she has a better chance of getting a nomination for Challengers than she does Dune Part 2. So
10 of 20. 10.
10 is Anne Hathaway for Mother Mary. Just the fact that she's getting as much praise as she is for The Idea of You shows how much people like Anne Hathaway. Mother Mary has a decent director behind it. We'll see what happens. The problem with Mother Mary, and I'm thinking Anne Hathaway would get to campaign for lead because Michaela Cole would have a harder time in lead actress, is that I'm unclear, and it seems to be unclear to others too, if Anne or Michaela Cole are the lead. Like, which one is the lead in Mother Mary? So they could flip this, and she could end up in supporting, and Michaela could be running in lead. Anne did win in supporting for Les Mis, so maybe that's a more comfortable category for her. I don't know. Maybe they'll sacrifice Michaela Cole in lead and run Anne in supporting. Carey Mulligan, they kind of did that with Carey Mulligan. They figured she had a better shot, so they ran her in supporting of the two co-leads of She Said. It didn't happen for her, but she was pushed in supporting. Next down the list,
11 of 20. 11. Cynthia misspelled.
I've got Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. It's Elphaba. And it's Cynthia Erivo. She's already been nominated for Harriet, so it's like she's on their radar, and it's Elphaba. And if they're dividing the acts, she does get to do Defying Gravity in Act 1. So the big song is in Act 1 of Wicked. So, I mean, if she's going to get nominated for Part 1 or Part 2 of Wicked, I feel like she's going to get nominated for Part 1. So, yeah. And if this is... Supposedly they're incorporating some more stuff from the book, and even I've read the book. Yeah, I mean, Defying Gravity would still be in the first half of the book. If she's gonna do it, she's gonna do it for the first half. I think. I don't think she's gonna get nominated for part two. So we'll see. I don't think that film has a great director. That's my problem. So that's why she's down the list.
12 of 20. 12. Amy Adams.
Number 12 is Amy Adams for Night Bitch, the Marielle Heller film. It's just weird. I love Amy Adams. She's got like 6 or 7 nominations. She's never won. Feels like, let's just all just be really honest here. Feels like if Amy Adams is in the conversation, she's not winning for Night Bitch. So it would just be another accumulated nomination for somebody who's already got a lot of nominations. We need Amy Adams to win for something. And I also look back at something like for Amy Adams for Arrival, and I'm like, how does she not get nominated for Arrival? Like, I still look at that. That is one of the nominations where I'm just like, why did this not happen? How? So I could see her getting snubbed for this, even if it was good, because Oscar voters have left her out in the cold before. So
13 of 20. 13. Kate Winslet. Lee.
13 would be Kate Winslet for Lee. This film has been, again, floating around. This is like the Ryan Destiny thing where it's like, this is a holdover from last year. We were talking about Kate Winslet for Lee. Nobody really knew what was happening. It didn't have a distributor. I still don't know if it has a distributor, but I'm just keeping Kate Winslet because it's fucking Kate Winslet. Moving down the list.
14 of 20. Misspelled 14. Anjay. Misspelled Anu Ellis Taylor. The Nickel Boy.
14, I've got Anjanou Ellis Taylor for the Nickel Boys. I've got her lower because I'm not sure if this is a lead or supporting performance. It kind of looks like the kind of film where she could go lead because no one else really seems like a definable lead. Also, even though I don't think everything that I've heard about the Supremes is that they're going for Hulu and they're not submitting. But even if they tried to run a campaign also, like if they did like maybe like a limited run and then like a casual Oscar campaign for it, if she ended up in supporting for that, this could be like a two, lead for Nickel Boys supporting for the Supremes. She won't get either, but in that scenario. But I don't know. I want to know where she lands, where they end up campaigning her. So
15 of 20. 15. Anya Taylor-Joy. Furiosa.
15, I still have Anya Taylor-Joy for Furiosa. The reviews on the film are pretty solid. So I don't think it's going to happen for her, but I do have 20 names here. So we'll see. We'll see how Furiosa is taken by audiences and the critics, wider critics said it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think she's going to end up falling off my list. I think there will be other films that come out in other festivals and performances that rise and stuff like that. And Anya's just going to end up falling off. Sort of like, I think she's peaking right now is what I'm saying. Like sort of like the Zendaya thing. It's like, I feel like this is just going to drop, but this is May. And so this is where they're at sort of like in May.
16 of 20. 16. Michaela Cole.
16, I've got Michaela Cole for Mother Mary. I mentioned it because I don't know if she's going lead or supporting, so I have her sort of towards the bottom of this list just in case she does go lead. Yeah, so
17 of 20. 17. Florence Pugh. We Live in Time.
17, I've got Florence Pugh for We Live in Time. I've heard like a little bit about this film, but not a lot. It doesn't seem to be like a massive contender. So we'll see. I'm kind of paying attention to this film.
18 of 20. 18. Mikey Madison. Anara.
18 is Mikey Madison for Enera or whatever it is. It's the latest movie from the guy who didn't get his actors nominated last year. Listen, I like Sean Baker, but he had a really good lead actor that was getting praises for Rocket. I'm spacing on the name of the film right now. But people know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that film. and it didn't materialize in an Oscar nomination. And I just don't think this is going to materialize in an Oscar nomination. Critics groups, sure, Independent Spirit, yeah, but I don't think it's going to materialize until he picks somebody who just screams Oscar nomination. Like somebody who's just like, wow, he started to work with that actor. Kudos.
19
So
of 20, 19. Tilda Swinton. The
19, I've got Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door. It's possible it's the Pedro Almodovar film. I'm thinking she goes lead for this and Julianne Moore goes supporting. They could flip that. I'm also thinking if she does go lead for this, that I don't know if This or the End would end up being the film that would track. So we'll see. But I'm keeping it on the list until we figure it out. And 20
level 1, 20.
is Lily Gladstone for Fancy Dress or Fancy Pants or whatever it is. Just because Lily Gladstone was there last year. If anybody watches her film and talks about it, she could end up getting a nomination. I think she could end up getting an Emmy nomination this year for Under the Bridge, just because the buzz, it benefits her that she didn't win. It benefits her that she had that much buzz and didn't win, because then it's like she came so close and the hype is still there. Feels like fans of Lily Gladstone could rally around something. Just whether or not it's a big enough film. Lily Gladstone tends to pick films that are not usually the size of Killers of the Flower Moon. So that's it. Those are my top 20 right now. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll be back next week with Supporting Actor. Until then, see you guys on the other side.